we'll start by just turning it on. You can see I've added my own little preamble there. And what we have up in the upper left corner is the blade height. On the upper right corner is the current sawing mode. And on the bottom line you see the set displayed. The set would be the selected board thickness. There are 6 sets to select from, and you can change those by hitting the next item button over here. See if I can see, we can go page through all 6 of them. Those are the factory, or the on the factory, the presets, and they can be adjusted by the user. And there's also 2 cores to choose from. A core is what you would be left with on the bottom if you select that option in the absolute sawing mode. I'll get to that shortly. You press the Sets Cores button to switch the displayed list, and you can see now we have no core selected. And if the next item would select core 1 and the second core 8. I only had 2, so you wouldn't have to page through too many of those. We'll switch back to the sets. To adjust those values, you would press and hold the Sets Cores button, and then you've entered into the adjustment mode, and you can move them up and down using the drum switch, and select whichever one you want to adjust, or whichever list you want to adjust. There's the core you can adjust. But we'll go back to the set and take that back down to the original setting. You can also hold the switch and it'll page through the values for you. Let's see, I think we were actually on number 1. Okay, we're going to stick with number 1, and then you just press the mode button to exit, and then you're back where you were. Manual mode obviously is just up and down with the drum switch as usual, and the numbers should track the scale. Let's see if I can get one that's a nice even number here. Actually, it's harder to do than you might think. I've been thinking about making it automatically round or bump up to the nearest 16th. I haven't decided whether I want to do that or not, but we've got 11 5/8, and let's see, sorry, too much coffee this morning. 11 5/8 precisely. That's taking a lot of work to get it that good, but it is always. Sometimes it's maybe a 30-second off at most. Okay, in the next mode, right now I'm calling it absolute mode. Goat mode has been suggested. I may put that in there if I don't get a better suggestion. Absolute meaning an absolute measurement from the bed, which is what this mode is. It measures from the bed up, and it'll calculate the sets based starting at the nearest one below your current blade height, and also leave the core value if you have one selected. But I know we don't have one selected, or it would have switched over to show the core value. But let's switch over and make sure that's the case. Yep, none. And we'll leave it that way for the moment. We'll keep it simple and go back to the set. So you would just, I've got this little rotting log over here for demo. Let me move up closer to it. And of course you would do typical drop down near above your desired starting point and come back, and to start the drop sequence you press the drop sequence button up here. Over here, and you get this little blinking arrow with the line below it. The line indicates that you're referencing the cut to the bed as a reminder. And then you just press the drum switch down, it'll drop to your first target, which, if you are familiar with the 4/4 scale. 10 inches is your first target, and that is indeed where we stopped. And you would just keep right on dropping. And you hear that little, occasionally you hear that little jittering noise. That's the H-bridge bumping it back up to get it into the exact right spot. I wish I could hold this camera more steady. I tried to do this on a camera mount, but I couldn't point it to all the places I needed to point it to. So we're at 2 1/8, and then the last one, of course, is 1 inch, and it drops out of the sequence. The arrow goes away, and we ended up at 1 inch. And you could, of course, move it manually down further if you want to. And of course you'd raise it back up. Now if we wanted to select a core value, which would be, say you wanted to leave a 6-inch cant behind, you'd display the core and then hit next item, and there's 8, and I've already programmed one for 6. And we'll switch it back to the set so we know we're on 1. And now I'm also I have a set center value. I'm going to show you that. I'm going to lower the blade to the center of the log. Get it close. I don't know if you can see that. I've got a red X marked there. And then press and hold the set center button here for 1 second, and you'll get this little center symbol popped up. Now that's referencing the cut to the center of the log, so that your selected core, or if you don't have a core selected, your selected set will end up centered on the log. That leaves the pith right in the center of whatever size you're cutting. Of course, then you'd do, as before, raise up just above the log, like that, and start your sequence by pressing the drop sequence button, and it will drop to your first target. Now, of course, that value is relative to what I marked as the center, so that's why you see an odd value there. Another drop. Okay, and you can see I've got some marks here on the log. I hope you can see them at the a 1 inch mark and 3 inches above center, which is our 6-inch core, so that this cut would be the opening face for our single board that we're going to take off the top. We'll drop one more, and that finishes that sequence. And if we make this cut and flip it over and finish cutting in this mode, you'll end up with 1-inch boards and a 6-inch core that's centered on the pith. The other sawing mode we have available is the auto down mode, or just auto, and that is the same as the regular SimpleSet has, and also it's the same as auto down on the AccuSet 2. It just references each drop from where the blade currently is. So of course you would move down to get your best opening face on the log, maybe there. I sure hope you guys can see that when all is said and done. And then you would initiate the sequence and start your drops. And of course, at some point you'd flip the log, but I'm not going to be doing that. or rotate at 90 and get that dimension going. But just pretend we flipped it and you're continuing down to take your boards, planning on leaving a dog board maybe at the bottom. And keep on going. We'll see where we end up. And it should terminate when the next target is less than 7/8 from the bed. That keeps you from accidentally sawing into your can't stops. Hopefully. Yeah. And there you go, it stopped. Now you can go further if you want manually, but that's as far as the auto will allow you to go. Also, let me show you the user adjustable settings, mainly because the kerf setting is in there and that is adjustable. You would just press and hold the mode button, and there's your kerf pops up first, and that's adjustable using the drum switch up and down. And you have other things in here that have to do with adjusting how the head drops and the accuracy of it. Most of it, once adjusted, you wouldn't be messing with. Some of the stuff at the end there's the gear ratio that I ended up calculating, and that's what it worked out to be. And I've got some stuff in here for troubleshooting purposes. That's the fractional value of the blade height and so forth, and then just back to there. And other than a couple of calibrating functions, that's pretty much the whole thing. Thanks for watching.